720 WGN Radio. What's up, everyone? It's Iridian Fierro, and we are all elite for this interview. My guests today are a powerhouse couple in the wrestling industry. And with All Elite Wrestling making its return to Chicago this week, I am talking about Mike and Maria Kanellis Bennett. Thank you both for joining me today. I absolutely am so excited to chat with you both.
Hello
Hi,
there.
thanks for having us.
So I know with the holidays, it being an extremely busy time, and it's usually hectic in a lot of households, right? So is that the case for your family right now around the holidays, with that including the wrestling schedule added into the mix?
Yeah, it's quite chaotic for us right now. So I'm usually on Ring of Honor and then
Mhm,
he's on Wednesday nights on Dynamite, but he's also been showing up on Rampage and
mhm,
on Collision. And so there's all that chaos on top of the normal chaos of having a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old. And
mhm,
then some holidays, we're just we're living in chaos right now.
mhm.
Constant,
Constantly.
constant.
So, Mike, Maria, the both of you have worked in so many other promotions before, and
Mhm.
all of that combined experience is really second to none. So, what was it about AEW that caught your attention, and how is it different from the other companies that you both have been at?
We've been to them all. I mean, we were in WWE, we went to Impact, we've been in New Japan, Ring of Honor, before Tony bought it. So I have to say that the biggest thing for us in coming to AEW was really the appreciation for families
Mhm.
and, to really have the family involved with it and to see what has happened in the past, with families. There's a few people that are on the road that have kids at home and they're both on the road. Mommy and daddy are going on the road. And for us, that was the biggest thing is, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing is the best for our family and for our children. That's not to say that there's not benefits everywhere else. It just at this time in our lives, and especially when we first started, the schedule was very appealing. Now, forget it; it's chaos. But it's the best for our family right now.
I
Yeah.
think it's the for me too. It's the company culture.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Having wrestled in a lot of different places, and then having the opportunity and the time to sit down with Tony Khan and listen to just the way he respects us as wrestlers, but not just as wrestlers, but as performers. And I feel like at this point in my career, in my life, that just goes a lot farther for me. When you have a
Mhm.
guy who is in charge and he understands what we have to do, what we're going through, and then what we have to go through at home, that just to me goes a very long way. And it's
Mhm.
something that I think AEW does very well.
Yeah, for sure.
And working together, just, being a couple, how has that how has that worked out? You guys have really much had your wrestling careers together. So what's that been like for you?
I think we're better when we're together. I think we're better.
We're
We're a better
definitely better
couple.
together.
We're a better
Yeah.
couple when we're together.
We're better together. This last few months is really I don't know why Roddy and Adam have like this trance over him. He's over there doing that. But hopefully I get him back.
Gotta watch out for Roddy's neck. Relax.
I hope eventually I get him back. I'm very excited with what I'm doing in Ring of Honor, and I think there'll be a few Ring of Honor matches on Wednesday night
Mhm.
after Dynamite.
Mhm.
But for us as a couple, we are so much better when we are working together, and we bounce ideas off of each other. We talk about what's coming up, what's coming next, and our kids are very used to us always being together.
Yeah. That's so beautiful to hear. I love love. So 10 out of 10 for the both of you. So
So this week and it felt like a vacation because it was like we went to a wedding and we were able to dance together and hang out because a lot of times over the last few months we haven't been able to spend much time together.
mm, oh man. Well, I'm glad that you guys are able to spend that family time together, and that AEW is such a company that focuses around that. So after AEW acquired Ring of Honor, we've seen, like you guys mentioned, that you're kind of on both brands, right? So, Mike, the Kingdom and this Roderick Strong story has really snowballed, right? Snowballed out of control. How has that experience been like for you? Did you ever think that you would see fans in the crowd with signs that said neck strong, neck health awareness? Like, what's going on here?
It's we were joking about it on the way home from LA this week. It's been a wild ride. And I think the best way to explain it, because I don't think I mean, I've teamed up with Taven for a long time, and I've expressed in other interviews, Taven is legitimately my best friend. Like we're boys. We love each other. But Roddy's also one of our close friends because of our history in Ring of Honor. And for the three of us to be able to travel together and work together and do all these things together, it's not only been a blast, but I think you see what happens when like-minded people come together and they put their best foot forward. And it's like, here's something that we were given that I think honestly could have gone either way. But I think we are constantly talking to each other, trying to tweak what we're doing, trying to figure out what's working, what's not working. Okay, we'll get rid of that. Yeah. And then to just see that slowly build, I don't think I've ever experienced anything like this in my career, to watch it. And it's funny, we were leaving the arena in Oakland not that long ago, and the fans are just filing out and they're screaming, Adam. And I'm just like looking at Roddy and I'm looking at Taven. I'm like, this is wild. And I think honestly, it's just because of our close-knit group, and because we feel so close with each other that we can be like, hey, maybe don't do that next time, or maybe try this, or like the fact that we can just keep bouncing ideas off each other. I think that's why it's fingers crossed is working so well. And to see people wearing neck braces in the audience is unbelievable.
Would we see maybe you and Matt also support Roderick that way in wearing the neck brace?
If we need to, if God forbid anything happens to my poor neck, or Roddy has a plan for me to wear a neck brace, then absolutely. But right now
I will not. I refuse. Absolutely. It will like mess everything up. It's uncomfortable. No.
But like for now, honestly, I love doing motivational speaking. So being there for Roddy to just will him out of his chair and be there to put the neck brace. It was. Really was put his neck brace back on. That's where my heart and soul is right now.
Mm-hmm. Man, Maria, you have been all about business since you've gotten back to Ring of Honor with Griff Garris and Cole Carter, your babies. You give them advice. And I want to talk about what the worst advice is that the both of you have gotten in the wrestling business. You don't have to tell me who it was, just what the worst advice that you've received was.
Be patient, just wait. Her business is crazy. There is so much going on. There is like so much, so many people involved in it. So if you are not the squeaky wheel, I feel like you're never going to be able to, capture that brass ring. And I think you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. You have to continue to, educate yourself. If you're in the ring, get better in the ring. If you're a manager, get better at doing that. Like constantly be getting your name out there, constantly be bothering people to make sure that they're acknowledging you. I think that the squeaky wheel, especially in an industry like ours, where I think right now there's 150 talent in AEW, I think, the squeaky wheel is the best approach.
For me, I remember I asked someone one time why I had to do something a certain way. And they told me, well, that's just the way it's always been done. And I remember thinking about that and then looking at all the people that didn't do things the way it's always been done and realizing that those were the successful people. And I went, okay, that's not very good advice. I think I'll do the opposite of what you just told me.
Well, and you guys have been doing so well. It's just been amazing to watch you both just in wrestling in general, right? It's so fantastic. And Mike, I know you mentioned your motivational speaking and helping Roddy through really, really tough times, right? So your social media is all about you being motivational, and you just put such good energy out there, especially on Instagram. Where did this sense to be having this kind of like motivational vibe, especially on social media, come from?
Honestly, because life is hard. Life is difficult. And I think just a lot of it's self-talk. And a lot of it's just me reminding myself, like, no, it's difficult. And we're all going through something difficult. We're all battling a war that nobody knows anything about. And just keeping that mindset of like, there was a time where people would say stuff to me online, and a quick trigger, I'd write something back and be like, I got him. And then realize like, well, that didn't make me feel very good at all. It made me feel good for the moment. And then I started thinking back and I was like, well, what is this person going through that they feel the need to attack me and they don't even know me? And like just overcoming my addiction and through my recovery, I realized, oh, wow, all of us are just dealing with some sort of a problem. And when you have the platform that I do, by the grace of God, I've been lucky to have a decent sized platform. I just felt obligated. I felt obligated to tell people like, look, this is a struggle and we're all going through it. And if you just take a step back and realize that, it really does make life easier, because instead of being so quick triggered when someone says something wrong to you, you take a step back and you go, well, why did they say that to me? Especially when it's people you don't know.
Yeah.
Why did they? And even when it is people you know, you just go, well, why are you coming at me like that way? Or what are you going through? And I think the fact that I'm on TV, I have a platform. If I tell people, look, I deal with this on a daily basis, sometimes an hourly basis. We're all just screwed up people. We're all just screwed up people trying to survive in this world with the lessons that we were taught. And it really became important for me to spread that message.
And I think that's just so fantastic, right? Because I feel like these days social media can be a very toxic place. So if we have more positivity that's being put out there, that's only for the best. And I see that you're wearing your All Elite Together shirts. So I know that AEW has a really great program, and they do community events, AEW Together, right? And they kind of try to make a positive impact in the communities that they serve. So I know that the Kingdom was at the very last event with that All Elite Duncan shoot. How was it like participating in that? Can you talk to me a little bit about that and how it went?
It was a blast. Just seeing the group of wrestlers come together, the group of talent coming together, and then the kids that were out there for it. Everyone just had fun. We did like a slam dunk contest that the only one who could dunk was Satnam. We did a 3-point contest. Where one of the people that was in the crowd won because he was just draining threes. Taven was very upset. And then we did a game of knockout where it was down to me and Satnam, and I just couldn't shoot over that 7'4" man. But it's awesome, and it's really cool. I think that's one of the things we do very well. And it's not only just in the community, what AEW does for the wrestlers backstage. I mean, just later today, I have a call where the company is putting out a substance abuse talk where I'm going to talk, and they have the doctors talk, and it's for anyone that wants to just listen. We have a doc that we can sit and talk to backstage if we're just going through it and we need a mental health check-in, not to check on our bodies, but to check on our minds. And I've never experienced that any company I've ever worked for. Their doors always open. They very much put our mental health above everything else. And I just love that idea. I love this idea of like, we're all people. Yeah, we're big, bad, tough wrestlers on TV. But when it comes to our community, when it comes to kids, when it comes to people that are struggling, we put our best foot forward, whether it's us or it's people in the community. And I just, that is one of the biggest things that AEW does that I absolutely love.
Yeah. Maria, we recently saw titles change in the recent pay-per-view that we got. And people on the internet were also going crazy because there was some footage released that Ronda Rousey made her debut in Ring of Honor. She had just a showing, right? We don't know if she signed yet, but I want to talk to you about what the state of the women's division is in Ring of Honor, and what you think what that signing could possibly bring to that roster.
I think it's telling that Ronda Rousey had her match at Ring of Honor. I think Ring of Honor has always been the standard. It's a standard bearer of what women's wrestling can be, what wrestling in general can be. And, to have Ronda on a Ring of Honor show, it's very telling of what the division is and where it can go. I'm working with Layla Hirsch right now, and she's coming off an injury and, trying to get her mind right in order to compete in this very, very intense division. I mean, you have Athena, who has been champ forever. I think like 20 years now she's been champ. And she doesn't just compete, she competes aggressively. She expects those around her to compete aggressively and fiercely. And that is what, the traditions of Ring of Honor have always been, is who is going to put on the best match. And we have our struggles in Ring of Honor. We are We are a show that is fighting for time. We are a show that is fighting for attention. We are a subscription-based show. We are a show that is a lot of underdogs, a lot of people trying to, make it to that next plateau of their career. And I think that is the heart and soul of Ring of Honor. And for me, the first time I was in Ring of Honor, before I went back to Impact, or before I went to Impact Wrestling, before I went back to WWE, that is what truly changed my mind about what wrestling can be. It can be that mentality of, we are just going to show people how talented we are by our work. And that's what we do at Ring of Honor. Doesn't matter the adversity we face. We are going to prove it in the ring, backstage, with our attitudes and the way that we fight for this company.
And I like that you mentioned fiercely. I like that word, right? Because I feel like when I think of fierce, I also think of you. You know, you have been just so influential, especially in women's wrestling. And now you have your own company too. Like, you are hustling. And it's the fact that, you two are just so supportive of each other that it makes you unstoppable. Such a power couple, literally, both in the industry. So I just want to thank you guys for just being so great. So
Thank
with with Chicago having the AEW show, what can our audience expect? What are you going to go to AEW and see?
Hmm.
Well, you'll definitely see Next Strong. You'll see Roderick Strong in a wheelchair, and me and Taven supporting him the only way that we can. I think, honestly, if you're new to AEW and it's your first show, you're going to see, hands down, the best wrestling anywhere on the planet. And I will put my life on that. There is no better wrestling in any company. I know, I've worked for them all. This is literally the best wrestling company in the entire world. And that's what you'll see. And I think in Chicago, the Continental Classic is starting. So you're going to see even better wrestling. It's very similar to New Japan's G1, which is one of the most intense tournaments in all of wrestling. And now that we have one, I think it's awesome. And you're going to see that. You're going to see just good, pure, hard-hitting pro wrestling, which, like, if that's your thing, that's what we do best.
So, Mike, Maria, thank you so much for your time today. You both have been so wonderful, and I absolutely appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Iridian Fierro, and this is 720 WGN Radio, and we will talk more soon.